All right, so just as soon as you're done creating a website, I'm going to show you how to apply basic SEO, more specifically local SEO, onto your website just to get you started before you get into the advanced stuff. So first things first, you want to click customize, right? Click customize, and then it will take you to the customizer. Now the first thing that you want to do before you start this whole local SEO thing is you have to set your site title and site tagline if you have one. All right, so you just want to put your company name over here or brand name, and then you want to put the site tagline over here. Now if you don't have a logo, then you can hide these, right? You can hide these and just keep them hidden. Otherwise, you can also utilize them as a temporary logo until you figure something out for your website. Now as soon as you're done, you can click publish, and then you can then jump into your plugins. Now once you get to your plugins, the plugin that you're really looking for, the main plugin, is Rank Math SEO. Now you can use various other plugins that maybe you're much more comfortable with. For an example, Yoast SEO, that's another good one. So if you are comfortable with Yoast SEO, you could actually utilize it. But I like to use Rank Math SEO, and I think that it's great. Now another plugin that you want to get is Sitekit by Google. All right, it's a very neat plugin, and I'm gonna show you what to do with it as soon as we're done. But now you want to open your setup, right? So it's the setup wizard for the Rank Math. So there it is right here. Just click and then open in another new link. Now as soon as you install Rank Math, you may meet this particular page right here, and you may be asked to log in to the Rank Math plugin, basically speaking. So you have to register. So if you can just get started and just register, maybe you could use one of the emails that you don't use as much, but you do need this, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of websites and you're going to be using Rank Math. It's going to be useful. So just register, just sign up, and then we can continue with this. Now click advanced. All right, then once you click advanced, you say start wizard. All right, so here we are. We have the import SEO settings. So basically, if you have used Yoast SEO before and you just want to import those settings to Yoast SEO, then you can utilize this little module right here to just import the settings from Yoast SEO, further making your work easier. So if you don't have Yoast SEO, right, so you don't need to import anything, basically speaking, then you can skip import. All right, so just click skip, don't import now. All right, here we are. We have your website and then the brand name. All right, so you want to set, you see this right here, ZGN is A, right? Open this and then click small business site if your website is about a small business, right? If you have an e-commerce store, then you can use web shop. If you have a blog or a news site, then you can use these two. And then this one is for a portfolio, and then this is for an other personal or other business website that does not fall into these categories. So I recommend you choose a small business site if you are using if you're doing a small business website. And then the type of organization, now there's a list of organizations available here that you can utilize. So you can just click one that fits with what you are doing. Let me see if they have home and construction business. All right. So I'll choose home and construction business. Company name, you can add the brand name yet again. Then you can add the logo. Just go in, pick up the logo and edit. And then you can add another logo, or if you have something specific, you can have one of your designers create a specific graphic for you that you can utilize for the social media share. It's going to have to be obviously 1200 by 630 pixels, and then you just sort that out and upload it right here, and then every time you share, that graphic will show up. So it's pretty neat, it's pretty cool. Right, so save and continue. So this will be useful for Google. When Google is having a look at your website, it'll be able to understand what that is. Now here we are. RankMath is going to ask you if you want to connect to Google services, specifically Google Search Console and Analytics. So it's Google Analytics. These are the two that RankMath will be utilizing. I'm unsure of the other ones, but these are the two that I know that it utilizes the most. Right, so you can connect to RankMath, and then it will automatically verify your website with Google Search Console. All right, so this is the other use. This is the other neat trick of RankMath. But if you don't want to verify using RankMath, then you can use Google Sitekit. All right, so Sitekit, you can use that to verify your website with Google. Say continue. All right, so now we're dealing with sitemaps. So now you can choose a sitemap to create for your website. So basically what this is going to do is it's going to create a sitemap that you're going to use to submit to Google to allow Google to index your website faster. So I think the default settings are actually pretty much okay. You don't really need to create something new. But if you have a landing page, then you could click that and have it sorted out. But basically it's going to use the post pages, categories if you have any. It's going to include images, it's going to include pretty much everything. So do keep that in mind. The sitemap will be very, very useful in getting our website indexed faster. Now here we have SEO tweaks. All right, so basically these are no index, empty category and tag archives, and then the no follow external links, and then so listen, the default settings for this particular section are all right. So you can just save and continue and just go forward. All right, so your website, so now you've set up the basic stuff with RankMath. All right, so now to proceed, I want you to click setup advanced options. All right, so this is for if you have multiple users onto your website and you want to be able to give the authority, like the amount of access that they could have onto your website. So as you can see, the administrator has pretty much each and every they can access everything. All right, the editor, they can only access maybe like a third of these things. And then the author can only access a few, a contributor none, and the subscriber none. All right, so the default settings here are all right. You don't want to give the subscriber too much power or the contributor too much power, because that could actually lead to ruin for your website. So just make sure to be careful with this. This is a very neat thing that Rank Math has, and this is why I like using it. All right, so save and continue, and then you have to go forward. So just be careful with these settings. Don't give, specifically as a rule of thumb, don't give the subscriber, contributor, and authors too much power. It's bad news. It's bad news. All right, so this is a 404 monitor, and then this has to do with redirections on your website. If if you change your pages on your website, and then you forget to you forget to redirect them to a different page, this is very helpful. This particular setting is very helpful. All right, so set up temporary or permanent redirections. Right, combined with the 404 monitor, you can easily redirect faulty URLs on your site or add custom redirections. All right, so you want to enable both these two. So this will monitor for any faulty URLs, and then this will redirect the URLs if they are found to be faulty. Now this is much more common with e-commerce websites, since an e-commerce website can have thousands of pages. Also more common with blog sites. So if there's a blog, lots of content, there is a possibility that some changes could happen, and some pages could be lost in the wind, and that could lead to faulty URLs. So it's very important to have these. Because the blog sites, right, or the e-commerce sites, your customers or your readers could still find this faulty URL, and this could lead them to bounce and just leave your website. So this helps redirect them to the main page, which is where you would want them to be. So now you just save and continue after clicking both these. Make sure that both of these two are enabled. All right, so now you're looking at the schema markup. All right, I don't know if it's called schema markup or schema markup. All right, you let me know about that. But basically, it adds the metadata to your website, resulting in rich search results and more traffic. Depending on your website and depending how it's done, Google could add a few more little tweaks to your search results to make it more attractive to people. This is really what a lot of people that do SEO wish that their search results could look like. But it's really always something else with Google. You never know what you'll get. So now you can click okay, so for posts, all right, you can leave it as an article, as a blog post. All right, but then for pages, you could change that into something depending on what you're doing. If you have products, all right, on your pages, if 90% of your pages are products, then you could utilize this particular setting, or you could go for a service. All right, so I recommend you choose service. All right, I recommend you choose service. I think it's all right. If you have any landing pages, then you could also utilize the same thing, and maybe you could click service. I think that's just fine. And save and continue. All right, now we are brought here to modules. All right, modules. All right, so there are quite a lot of things here. All right, some are enabled, some are not enabled. Most of the things that are enabled are the things that we did while we were with the setup wizard. All right, so it's the 404 monitor analytics. You wanna enable this one, image SEO. All right, it's gonna be very useful. Local SEO, redirections, schema, role manager, SEO analysis, sitemap, Google Web Stories. If you're going to have web stories, Google Web Stories onto your website, then you can enable this. It will be very, very useful. All right. And then if you have WooCommerce, you can also add this if you have WooCommerce onto your website. But I think that is pretty much it. Now, what you want to do is you want to go right here. Let me see something. All right, this is pretty much the same thing. So you want to go to general settings. All right, this is the one, general settings. And basically you're going to have a look at some extra settings that were not available from the setup wizard. All right, so I think we already set these ones, and then let's have a look at the breadcrumbs. Most of the settings, all right, most of the default settings are going to be all right. So there is no need to fix them up. But webmaster tools, this one is going to be very useful for verifying your website with Google. But with also being webmaster tools, Baidu, Yandex, Pinterest, and Norton. All right, so try and get as many of these as possible. This will help your website reach as many people as possible. All right, I think that's pretty much everything. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. And then you want to go to sitemap settings. All right, just want to have a look at it very quickly. All right, so this is your sitemap. All right, this is going to be useful for getting your website indexed by Google. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But before we can get our website indexed by Google, first we have to sort out a few things first, which is the titles and the metas for our website. Now you want to open your pages. All right, open a link in a new tab. All right, so this is where we're going to get started with adding some things that are going to help our pages look as rich or as attractive as possible on Google. Now when you get here, when you get to your page, you'll see that there's a little section over here that says SEO details. All right, and it says keyword not set, schema is off, and the amount of links, you know, inside your website, like internal and also externally coming. So now you want to click one page. We are going to do the home page. You can click edit. All right, here we are. So this is the home page. Now what you want to look at is, do you see rank math? Here it is, right here. It says 0 out of 100, so it's basically empty. Now you want to click it, and then you're going to see these options opened here. Now this is where you're going to be doing your basic SEO, just to make sure and set up everything. All right, now I recommend, for starters, to put the keyword that is your brand, right, or company name as a keyword. All right, trading, it's capital letters. Remove that. This is going to be your keyword. All right, and then what you have to do is you want to click edit snippet. All right, so you want to edit the snippet and just make sure that it looks good. So now what you want to do is you want to put your brand name first, and then add that line and say your simple as that. Now you could spice it up a little bit and come up with something different depending on your company and depending on what you want to do. Let's say, for an example, if you were maybe an e-commerce store, you would say come. All right, like that. Sometimes it's very powerful. It's very powerful if you put the amount of items that you have onto your title. So you say sell, just say find laptops, bags, phones, and so on and so on and so on. This also helps out with your local SEO in just like targeting and just bringing people. So maybe somebody might, you know, call up any one of these things and this might show up on Google. So this is very useful to do. It's very useful to do. But since we are vision trading, so you can put the services of your business over there. I don't recommend it, but if you would like to do it, then feel free to. All right, here we are. So your best local trading company. All right, you don't have to set up the permalink. It'll get set up automatically, and then you want to add the description. Now for the description, you could just come up and pick one on your website like that. All right, and then just make sure that it's something nice, and then just post it here. And then you have to make sure that your description has your company name. All right, so it could maybe be something like we at ZGN trading, you know, do this and that and that and that and that. All right, so once it's there, this is also going to help out with your local SEO, and that's going to be the really good part about it. So yeah, this is it. So once this is done, once you've put your description and then you've put your title, then you can close it, then you can update it. All right, and then this is pretty much it. This is pretty much it for the basic SEO that you want to set up for your website. This will assist you on just getting started. Now I have more to show you. This video is already very long to begin with, so catch me on the next video as I show you more to do with a basic local SEO.